Welcome back to Pole Barn Garage, where today I bought a 77 Pontiac Grand Prix SJ. Why? I don't know. I gave $1,500 for this thing. It's worth every penny, probably. At least $200 a ton. It's a 400 floor shift, has no brakes, so we're gonna load it on the trailer and take it home. Oh, good. Power windows. Those won't work. Well, it's been a few days since I picked this thing up. The thing is, guys, I think there's a problem today. People think you got to spend $10,000 and this and that, and everything's got to be perfect for you to have a cool cruiser you can take out with your family. Well, that's just not true. We gave $1,500 for the 77 Grand Prix. We're going to build a cool cruiser that you can take to the cruise night, to your local hamburger stand, go get some ice cream with the kids and the wife, and do that for at least less than $2,500, but I'm shooting for about $2,000 total investment. Let's get started by pulling it in. Oh, we're off to a great start. Well, this ran the other day, so makes perfect sense why it wouldn't now. Because today's a different day, of course. The needle and seat might be a little stuck in there. All right, crank it. I think it's flooded now, somehow, even though there's no fuel. Just for grins, put your foot all the way to the floor and crank. There we go. What you're doing is, right now, you're cleaning the cylinders out. Yeah? Yeah. That's a bad valve. I think it's got a bad valve. We'll see. Just wedge a screwdriver down in the butterfly there, hold the choke open in the butterfly, and kind of help everything gas out of there. We'll try again. What's probably happened, other than the fact that it sounds like it's got a completely dead hole, but other than that, what's probably happened is all the plugs, all the varnish and stuff inside that carb and stuff has washed down onto the plugs and has now caked them so badly that it will just barely run. Let's put a little gas in it, because the gas gauge does read empty.
Okay.
All right, that's sat a while. Put a little gas in it. I know that sounds counterintuitive. I don't know, maybe it's out of gas, and I flooded it with brake clean somehow. What I ended up doing is I opened up the secondary air door on it, and that let enough air in for it to start, I guess. I'm gonna give it a quick tune-up. Wash all the varnish off while it's running. That's better. So when you do that, hold it up, the Venturi effect is happening in the carburetor. It's sucking down like a vacuum, and you close it off. That it increases the pressure inside of the carburetor and will pull dirt and stuff out of the orifices in the carb. Sometimes it does something. This time, probably not. I have another trick though. You know, everybody likes to pour Berryman or Seafoam or stuff down a carb. It's just kerosene is all that is. All you're doing is increasing the temperature inside the cylinder, and then that way it's releasing the carbon off the top of the piston and the valve. Well, you can do the same thing with water. My grandpa did this forever. Just drips of water down the carb, the vapor and the steam will work its way into the cylinders. They used to call it a steam cleaning of an engine. It will clean out an engine pretty damn good. Have you ever seen an engine with a head gasket failure? If you have a head gasket failure, the piston and the valve and that cylinder is almost always perfectly clean. That's because of the steam it creates. Feel that smoke?
Yep.
Whenever you're doing kerosene or sea foam or any of that, what you're seeing is that oily sea foam burning, and that's all the smoke you see. It's not the engine getting clean. When you see this coming out, when smoke comes out the exhaust from water, that means that's actually carbon being burned out and shoved out the exhaust pipe. Just don't do this if your car has a catalytic converter. Oh, now listen.
Wow, yeah.
Must have had a ring that was kind of stuck or a valve that was kind of sticking. Sounds a lot better now.
Sounds good.
Runs great now. Just some water down the carburetor. So this is what I'm talking about. You can follow all the big millionaire people with their TV shows, or you can dump a little bit of water down the carburetor, free your rings up and your valves, and go cruising. You know what I mean? I mean, there's still work to do here. It needs a valve cover gasket and all kinds of stuff still. But this car was running on maybe 3 cylinders before. And she's hitting on all 8 now, and we haven't done anything. Let's start cleaning.
Okay.
Here, give me the keys. I'll open the trunk. First part of any project might seem obvious, but it's just seeing what you got to work with. I know there's some new parts in here, and almost any car you buy, oh my God, there's huge rust holes in there. It's just any car you buy has. It's going to be full of goodies, most likely. For $1,500, you're going to have to get over yourself a little bit and deal with stuff like this. And when I say deal with this, I mean completely ignore it and don't do anything about it.
Look, new carpet.
Yeah, I know. It had a brand new carpet kit in it.
Huh. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's $120. We're right there. Yeah, save the floor mats because we'll probably want them too. Look at all the fluids and stuff. That's concerning for one, because that means it probably leaks and burns all of this stuff. However, it's free. Oh boy, what? Oh. Leaving wet, soggy towels on your floor is a surefire way to make sure there is no floor. Foot test. Oh no.
Bad.
Oh no. Okay, it's okay. We will fix it. Ooh, is that the upper part of that door panel?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Oh, this side here.
Yeah. Well, this side's in good shape.
Oh, this is a hood latch.
Oh, cable?
Yeah,
it needs
cable.
that. Brand new. Heck yeah. Let's see what we got here.
Oh.
Insurance information. Yeah, nothing good. Mmm, yummy. Asbestos.
So it's not that bad.
We'll pull the floor mat up and then tell me your opinion. Ooh. Oh no. Oh.
It's bad. Or just leave that.
Yeah, no, pull it out. We're gonna have to patch that. Uh-oh. Oh, that's not good. I probably could have chose a better car to try to build for $2,500.
No, that's a good one.
Oh, there's the trunk flipper. Oh no. Oh God, no. No, no, no.
What is that?
A locking lug nut. Okay, that one's broke off. Oh, it's loose. Thank God.
This one's off, and
that one's off. This one's off.
Oh,
thank God. Calhoun, Missouri, vehicle tax, 1997. So you had to pay good money to live in Calhoun. When was the last time this thing was on the road? 01 is the inspection. 23 years ago. Yeah, I sure know how to pick them. Step 1 here is going to be to change out the valve cover gaskets. I've never seen one leak as bad as this one does. I got these factory chrome valve covers. They're either off an engine I had, or I got them at a swap meet for like $5. You know, they're kind of beat up and rusty and stuff, but JD will clean them up as good as he can with some steel wool, and they'll shine up nice and look better than these things. So I have to remove all of the air conditioning stuff off of here to get to that valve cover. This one's not so bad. And then we'll also need to put a shim behind the alternator here to push it out. That is a 60s heavy-duty alternator. I don't know what that's doing on here, but it seems to work, so I'm going to leave it alone. And that's something to remember. If something's not broke, don't fix it. I am a Pontiac guy, right? I love Pontiacs. My opinion, one of the best engines ever made, ever. That said, their accessory packages are horrible. I hate them. This jungle gym of air conditioning compressor is just silly. Change my coat. I always come out here in my good coat and end up ruining it. And then I gotta go buy another coat, and then that one becomes my work coat, and then I ruin the other coat, and then, you guys have that problem? Get this whole compressor out of the way. That would be, yeah, there we go. Now I could just unbolt. I bet there's no Freon in it. No, there's nothing in it. No, I might just leave all this stuff off because I'm not going to be fixing it. Get this out of our way. I think I'll just leave all the AC stuff off of here. What I won't do though is take a sawzall to everything and just chop it all off. Let's save all the lines and everything, and we'll keep everything together with the car.
It's looking really good.
I'm using my bolt stir right there to organize all my bolts in. You can tell that thing is very well used. I use the hell out of it. And you can use code POLEBARN for 20% off of your bolster if you want one. Link down below in the description. So it's just a product I really like, so I got a code. You guys can try one out. You can save 20% on it. But I noticed, man, this engine is really grimy. Really grimy. What's the mileage on it, Jay?
64,000.
That's probably 164,000.
I doubt it's 64,000.
No, not as big doubt as this thing is. I mean, I swear I could hear it oinking at me. That's the last of that. Now we got lots of room. There's two ways to look at this. You can look at it as you save that stuff, put it back on the car later when you can afford it or whatever. Or you can look at it as you could sell all those pretty valuable Pontiac AC brackets. Probably $100, maybe $125 on eBay. You could see that as making a little money back to put towards other stuff. This damn thing is so nasty under here. I think we should just go ahead and power wash it. It's time to super clean this thing. Yeah.
Get every last bit.
Super cleaning. Look at the cleaning that's happening right now. It's superb. Probably go ahead and hit those floor mats while we're at it, huh? That's a lot better. Much, much cleaner in here. It's actually two different colors of blue. So this color over here is the earlier Pontiac blue, and that color over there, that's corporate GM. And make sure this still runs. I got a lot of water. A little squeaky. Now we let that dry off. We can detail under the hood and work our way to the interior. It's the next day, everything's dried off under here, but we're gonna paint this. However, before we paint it, I want to get rid of some of the smog junk that's sitting on here. You know, there's a lot of people that will be like, oh, you're de-smogging an engine. Well, no, you're not. You're just disconnecting things. The only true way to de-smog an engine would be to increase the compression ratio and, put in a cam that has more duration than the attention span of a goldfish. We can disconnect the vapor can. This is a thermostatic switch, and it goes to the vacuum advance eventually, I believe. That way it doesn't pull in advance until it reaches a certain temperature. That's an emissions thing. We'll get rid of that. Vacuum plugs aren't in the budget, so hose with a bolt in it, that'll work. This one goes to cruise control, which has been replaced by mud daubers. Yeah, I don't think that was gonna work, was it? Well, let's just disconnect that entirely, get that out of there. We will have to leave it in here because this is the mechanical computer for the cruise control. This is an input for the speedometer and an output for the speedometer. If we take that off, we won't have a speedometer. Won't need any of this crap either, because that's all for air conditioning. I will now appropriately store all of this air conditioning wiring down inside of this hole, never to be seen again. Save that cruise control cable, that could be handy.
Yeah.
Look how much better it looks already. So much less stuff. Oh, that was part of the EGR, it just fell off, so we don't need that. EGR line right here will probably have an exhaust leak. We should plug that with something. And this PCV hose is seeing better days. We should replace it as well. I'm gonna pull a couple plugs out of it and just see what they look like. You know, I don't really want to know. They've been in there a minute. Oh, they may not be very good. Thankfully, I found 8 mismatched spark plugs laying around that'll be perfect in this. Yeah. They're not that bad. The electrode looks fine. Old AC Delco. So those have been in there since, I don't know, the 90s. Clean them, gap them, put them back in. I'm going to clean the plugs up and re-gap them. Now I'm pretty sure these are, yeah, spark plug gaps. 60 thousandths of an inch on these mid-70s Pontiac. When they went to HEI, they figured it could jump that far, I guess. I don't know. 45, I'll probably go 50 and do them a little bit tighter just in case this thing's trying to oil some plugs up, it'll burn quicker. Yeah, I'll hose them out. The electrode is in great shape on these, so it doesn't need a set of spark plugs. We still haven't spent any money on this. They make spark plug cleaners, and I have one, but I'm out of sand for it, so I'm gonna use this instead. You wanna clean off the face of the electrode where it arcs to the ground strap. You go ahead and clean the threads up on the plug too, so when you put it back in, it grounds to the head. I'll just run a little piece of sandpaper, just a couple drags between the electrode and the ground strap. I want it to be nice and shiny. Looks great. I mean, this is gonna run good. I'm gonna put these back in, and we're gonna start just yanking them all and cleaning them all. If there's anything very interesting, I will let you know. You'll note that I'm not looking inside the cylinder with a bore scope. Why is that? Because I don't want to know, and frankly, it wouldn't make any difference to me at all, whether or not it looked great in there, or whether or not it needed a rebuild. Your average guy is not out here rebuilding every engine he comes across. You know, he might do like one and save up for years to do it. You know, in this case, you're just gonna get it running and go drive around and have fun with it. Well, I broke one, but I have some extras laying around out of a Chevy. Close enough. It'll work. So far, we've only had one that even really had any oil in between the electrode and the strap. This one's probably the worst one right here. There's just some gunk, you know, carbon buildup. Kind of smells like fuel. Just varnished, nasty gas, though. You know, it's nothing I'd worry about. Looking at those plugs, there's no reason to do anything with this engine. It's fine. You're gonna note that I haven't masked off anything at all. So what I will do is just pull, you know, maybe a couple things that are in my way, and then we'll just go hog wild with Pontiac Blue. Now this is the incorrect color for this engine, but I don't care. It is far better looking than GM Corporate Blue. And then this will be completely rebuilt. It'll be like brand new. People got all kinds of terms for this. I personally call it either a Krylon rebuild, or in this case, I'd call it a car lot special, because we're gonna go that extra mile, not just the engine. Everything's getting spray bombed. The key here is to mask virtually nothing and just use a piece of cardboard instead. Why? Because it's maximum laziness and efficiency. The less effort you put into this, the less you're going to care. Now we're gonna rebuild all the brackets professionally, just like this. See, we're not gonna remove them, because if I remove them, I'll probably break all the bolts off, and then I have to do actual work, and I don't want to touch anything that I don't have to. Well, we might as well go ahead and refurbish all the inner fender wells and everything else in here. Spoiler alert, we're gonna paint this thing, so a little overspray will be okay. Everything's like new. JD's preparing the air cleaner, the centerpiece of any worthwhile engine, meaning any engine with a carburetor. The only thing I've bought so far is a set of valve cover gaskets, $20. So let's get these glued on our used chrome valve covers. When you do valve cover gaskets, just glue them to the valve cover. You know, don't glue them to the engine, otherwise the next guy, who, if it's me, I'll come find you. And I'm of course using the cheapest RTV silicone you can buy in bulk at any parts store. It's disgusting. I think everything's tacked up enough now. Let's see what horrible secrets lie within these valve covers. But remember, even if it looks bad, nothing we can do about it. We're just gonna drive it. Store these in the mini bolster. All right. Ah, yeah, fairly clean in there actually. Not bad at all. Excellent. Oh, it's gonna look good. Just like with any perimeter bolt valve cover, don't go crazy tight on the bolts. Just snug, and that cork gasket will do the rest. I'm old school and I prefer them, really. Just snug. I'm doing this for the benefit of you younger guys who may not know. Do not go hog wild. Just partial hog. Yeah, this thing's definitely missed a few dozen oil changes. That's okay, because see, what we'll do is just cover it up. There we go, and see, now it's fine. Everything is cool now. Well, I suppose the master cylinder counts as under hood, so let's change that. We got lucky with that one. Oh yeah, lucky twice. Dang. There. It's not that bad, actually. But you know, brakes is one of those things that if you're gonna do something right, it probably ought to be the brakes. So with that said, let me go ahead and rebuild the brake booster. So I like to bench bleed like this. I know a lot of people bench bleed on the car, and that's fine. But if you do it this way, you can feel the air that's trapped inside the cylinder. See how easy it is for me to push this? You want to get to where it's really hard to push. Then you know all the air is out of it. I can just barely compress that, and now look what happens. With the line plugged, oh, I still got a little more air out of it. But with the line plugged, it's trying to push the fluid back up through the orifice. We've now filled the volume of this master cylinder with fluid, and it will bleed properly. I'd say, but Dalton, that master cylinder is going to rust. Not so fast. Hit it with a little clear coat. Don't paint it. We're going to try to replace that hood release cable. Unfortunately, it would seem you have to remove the kick panel to get to the cable, which comes out this way. And to remove the kick panel, we have to push the e-brake lever down. And I'm not doing that. I don't think it's going to unbolt. So let the butchery commence. Managed to find a little crack up in there. I was able to get some dikes up in there and cut the cable, so maybe we can get it out in pieces and then just feed the new one through the kick panel and we don't have to mess with anything. Thanks to the wonders of violence, I got that out. Now we gotta put the new one in. I got it through there. You see the big hole in the firewall there. Basically, yeah, they would have had the cable installed and some dude would have been at Fisher Body slapping dum-dum over all the holes in the firewall. So we just had to get that out of the way. Our other problem is getting this cable handle actually snapped in, which I'm pretty sure you're supposed to do with the kick panel off, but let's see if we can force it. Oh, beautiful. Snapped in and everything. It's just as poorly installed as the one from 1977. It is a bit shorter than the original one. We're not going to be able to make the original run with it. Cut it off a little bit, you know, like run under the cruise control thing and kind of snake in front of the radiator, maybe? That should work. I broke one of the bolt clips. Have to change that real quick. Then we'll see if it works. Go pull the handle. Yay! Does it work?
Yeah.
Throw a new filter in our newly painted air filter housing. That's a washable one I've had laying around forever. You can choose to bill me for it, but a regular air filter would be like $5. Let's jack this thing up, change the oil. Might as well put it on the stands and do brakes after that. What the hell is this exhaust? Goes, crosses over and runs everything right here, right under the oil filter. There's tons of room under these cars to just, you know, run it on each side. Yeah, that makes this kind of hard to do. Whew. Okay, no, I mean, what dumbass did this? I think I got enough room to take it out through the top. Be cool if it wasn't, you know, full of oil. Poke it through a corner. You're dumping. Ah, gee. It's got that all over your hoodie. I guess we'll have to get you a new one for polebarnmerch.com. Yeah, JD is monkeying our new oil filter on. Make sure you get it tight. Look how close that exhaust pipe is to the drive shaft. You just run them straight back, dude. Like, let's not make it any harder than it needs to be. That's not that bad.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a glob.
Oh.
Yeah, well, oh. My buddy Jim Anderson with Anderson Automotive in Iowa sent me 10 gallons of Rotella T4, which does have zinc in it. It's not technically the right zinc for a flat tappet cam. It's more than good enough for this thing, so I won't even use an additive with it. Now, pouring out of the 2.5 gallon jug is an art, and not one that I have mastered. We will get it done without an environmental catastrophe. Oil's changed, all the stuff we've done. Let's see if we did any good, see if it runs any better. We might have to address the carb eventually, but I think, it's at least running on all 8 now. That would be all the oil we spilled on that brilliantly ran exhaust, I think. One last thing for tonight.
Oh no.
Pull the hood open.
Yeah,
Good.
thanks.
Here's the hardest part of any brake job. Brake line bingo. Ooh, nice. That is shocking. Boy, if we can get lucky on those, it's gonna make our life a lot easier. We're doing this very budget friendly. And what that means is that we only need front brakes. Rear brakes are entirely optional. You know, if we can do them, great. If we can't, great. Get this caliper pulled off. And once we get it off, we'll go ahead and pop the rotor and pack the bearings. They got some life left in them.
Do you want to reuse them?
No, I won't, just because I already bought them. But I could take them back and save 30 bucks. But, you know, you guys be the judge. Would you run them? I might. See that? Got a little bit of play in it. But they feel nice. We'll just pop our grease cover off. That's lithium grease in there. Never, ever use lithium grease on a wheel bearing. It's not made to take the heat that those generate. Yep, that's a pretty good example of why you can't use that grease. See how it's just worn completely off? And it's not really doing anything? Yeah, that's bad. The bearing itself looks okay, so we'll just repack them. And let's get the inner bearing out. Take a peek at it too. Mud Dauber Paradise in here.
Oh, dang.
Allow me to refurbish these. We'll refurbish this, and it's also a really good insecticide to, you know, kill all those brown recluses. Yeah, delicious. We'll pack some good high temp grease in here. JD's working on taking that side apart. He's got the line broke free. I'm gonna put the wheel seal back in, get this rotor slab back on. Prepared to install our caliper. Bearings feel very nice now, no play. Got our anti-rattle clip installed. And our new pads, I guess we'll put new pads in it. These are O'Reilly calipers. They're 25 bucks a pop, and they come with this nice kind of ceramic looking coating on them. Then we'll install our new brake hoses. Those are 20 bucks a piece. You could save a buck or two if you went on Rock Auto and ordered everything, but I just wanted everything to be here right away, so went with the local O'Reilly. On brake calipers, some of them thread the hose right in. Some of them use something called a banjo bolt. This is a banjo bolt. It's got a hole in the bottom and holes in the side, and it allows the fluid to kind of flow around the bolt through this hose, and then allows the fluid to go into the caliper through that bottom hole. Why is it called a banjo bolt? Well, there once was a man who played a banjo, and he designed a rubber hose for brakes. And they called him Billy Banjo, and then they named the hose after him. That's a lie. Alright, well, we'll have JD tear this side apart, and maybe I'll go see if the brake lines will break free on the rear. JD's wrapping up this side. I unfortunately twisted off the front to rear brake line. So what I'm going to do is just make a new line to run front to back. We'll just replace that entire line. It looked pretty bad anyways. Oh, that looks real encouraging. I'm sure that'll come off no problem. Fire will help. Got that out of there. It's full of boiling brake fluid now for some reason. I don't know why. Just ran this brake line right alongside the other one. JD, you got that front brake done?
Oh, yeah.
Alright. So So I'll just trust that you did it right and not look at it. Anyway, I will make this brake line with my SURR flare tool. It's the best flare tool I've ever used. It's not a sponsored product at all. It is not inexpensive. It's almost 300 bucks. You guys know how cheap I am. I would say it's worth every penny. Our new line is made and it's way too long and it'll be just fine. So now let me just hook up our new rubber T back here. Always replace all your brake rubbers because that's what fails first. All right, let's see what's in here. What happens a lot of times is the drum will rust itself to the axle there. Gotta clean the rust off with a death wheel and a wire wheel, or whatever your choice is. Pretty stuck. Come on. Almost. Doesn't look like they're in bad shape, really. Actually, they look pretty good. Probably throw a new wheel cylinder in and call them a day. Well, these shoes are fine, so we'll reuse them. Save a couple bucks there. We'll just put in some new wheel cylinders so they don't leak, and we'll be good to go. I just took the top half of the brake apart. Just took the springs loose, and that makes this a lot easier. We don't have to disassemble the whole thing, worry about breaking all the old hardware and stuff. We'll let nature do that for us when we try to stop. And the fact is, these half-worn asbestos shoes, they'll probably last longer than the new Chinese ones. All right, that's done, and we'll finish the rebuild by killing all the spiders. What absolute perfection. Let me go ahead and change out the wheel cylinder in the passenger rear here, and then we'll pick up right here tomorrow and bleed brakes.
Today's video is sponsored by Bespoke Post. Bespoke Post is a monthly membership club delivering a box of awesome, top-shelf goods from under-the-radar brands. You to join, and you can skip a month or cancel anytime. 90% of the products come from small brands, many of which are based right here in the USA. This gut hook knife that I got is made by Titan International in Illinois, for example. Every month they introduce their members to cool new products based on a preference quiz that you fill out. They've got clothes, stuff for your house, camping, and cooking gear. High-quality stuff all around. They now offer a new membership program where you can get really great deals all year round. I'm talking like 30% off or more sometimes. You can preview your shipment before it's sent out. You'll get a customized selection of products picked for you. I picked the Trail Box. It came with a wilderness survival guide, a commando wire saw, paracord bracelet, gut hook knife. I used the knife to open the Weekender box. It came with this nice line of trade bag. Get a free mystery gift with your first membership purchase. Click the link in the description and enter poll gift at checkout, or go to bespokepost.com/pollgift.
Ready to bleed some brakes?
Yeah.
Hop in. Always start on the right rear, furthest away from the master cylinder. JD pump them up, build some line pressure, and I'll break it loose. A whole lot of nothing. So I have the bleeder open, JD's hitting the brakes, nothing's coming out. I suspect the proportioning valve is probably kicked over and shut off fluid to the rear brakes. So what I'll do is I'm going to close this bleeder, and then I'll open the front bleeders and have them hit the brakes and try to recenter the valve. I want you to smash the brakes a couple of times and hold them.
Okay.
Hold them. Hold them down.
Yep.
Alright, so we got fluid out of here. What I'll do now is tighten the fronts back up. Now if that worked, we should start to get some flow to the back. Starting to dribble a little bit, but still not very good flow. Down.
Down.
Finally got it centered, I think. At least we're pulling out of this side now. Well, the rears are bled, kinda. So, onto the front. The important ones. See if it feels like we have brakes. Yeah. Really good brakes. Now I just have to do everything else. Well, I'd like to mount some new tires on the Pontiac Rallies that the Grand Prix came supplied with, but before we do that, I'd like to get some paint on them. You got to paint these in 2 steps. So the first step is you got to paint silver on it, so you can make this part silver, and then you paint like an argent color on the rest of it. But, you know, you can tell I prepped them really well. They're pretty much good to go. Well, I just want to get the silver on them so I have time to break them down on my tire machine, put some new tires on them. Well, some used tires on them. You'll see my master plan taking shape later on, trust me. So I'm also going to be starting on body work maybe tonight or tomorrow. And I just noticed we have some small issues. Nothing major. I mean, this is, you know, nothing Here, see, you stuff that in there, and oh God, what is under all of this, I wonder? And what kind of horrible tape did they use? Oh no. You know, I probably could have picked a better car. Oh, it's flex tape. Oh. Oh no.
Oh my.
So, we're just gonna stuff that down in there. And we'll just kind of pretend that this isn't here for the moment. I have a fix for this. Don't worry, I can fix this. No, it won't be correct, but the car's not worth anything, so you know, it'll be alright. Well, I have Jess out here at work unbolting the seats, or what's left of them. We need to do that, remove the console, fix the floors, put new carpet in, ignore all the holes, and then the interior will be finished. While she does this, I'm going to go break down all the tires off of the wheels, and then we can paint the wheels. I think there was only one bolt holding it in. Oh no, there's two.
I still got that one back there.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Beautiful. Oh God. Huh. Maybe we can make some L brackets for these? Maybe? Wood.
Ventilation.
Oh no.
Oh my.
Let's build this car for $2,000.
Great idea, Dalton. Can I just pull this off?
Knock yourself out.
I might on accident.
That's a drain plug.
Oh.
Oh shit.
It's so strong.
Jess is going to get the console loose to where we can just pull it up a little bit. Then we can shove carpet under it, basically. We're obviously not fixing this correctly. The good news is the driver's side is a little bit better. Oh, back in the tire shop. These things are fighting like hell. Jess made these really clever stencils here. I might have put a little tape on them, but we can keep our silver and then paint the charcoal around them. A little bit of masking tape on the back rolled over on itself to kind of hold them down. And they sell these things as a kit, but this was free. All those are in place. Charcoal gray here. Oh yeah, that's gonna be perfect. It's a brand new set of wheels. Here's the tires I have. They are used, but they were on the gold LTD. They're the new ones I bought for it. And I wasn't very happy with them. They're very cheap. They were like $299 for a full set. I don't know, they didn't feel right in that car. So let's put them on this one. That's how Jess made the stencils. You like to reveal the wheels?
I would. You did like these ones first.
Yeah. Oh, excellent.
Yeah, and I mean, these held up pretty well.
Oh, those are reusable. Oh, that's fantastic. It looks perfect. Oh, no. We do need to get all this nasty, probably dry asbestos insulation out of here. You know, the fronts aren't too bad. I can only find one glove, so, you know, it's not in the budget to buy two. We will just gently remove some, but not all of the rust. Perfect. Oh, that's beautiful. All right, let's go steal some stop signs. Look, I found new floor pans in the form of a junk square body Chevy truck hood. Went ahead and saws all that out down in the scrap pile. It's important to keep your GM car all GM, as we all know. Always use GM scrap metal in your car. My handy dandy template here. And yeah, so we just, you know, like the seat belt goes here. We could probably make one template and use it for both sides. And only the finest here at Pole Barn Garage, let me tell you. I sell some fine used cars here. We don't need you all the way up here, do we? No, it's perfect in here. One of my dream jobs was a used car salesman. I always wanted to be a professional thief. Behold, the nibbler. Poor man's plasma cutter. You can make really nice curves with the nibbler. I actually prefer it to a plasma cutter. You might have thought I wasn't going to treat the floors with anything. Well, I am. I have a whole bunch of this Clarence crappy spray paint that I've had sitting around for literally years. It's time to get it out of my cabinet and use it to treat all this rust. and hotbox this car. Oh, look how well treated those floors are now. I'm gonna start small, you know. We got a little hole up here, and I'm gonna use a license plate to fix that because license plates don't rust. So this is fixed forever. I'm just trying to get my self-tappers warmed up to take on the bigger job. You know, it's procedure. Well, there wasn't anything under that.
I like how the stuff growing on the license plate matches the floor.
It is done that way on purpose. Wasn't much under that one either. Oh, yeah, that was a good one though. Let me put this in the metal brake. You know, if I could have got the back seat out, it would have made my life a lot easier. But I can't, because it's rusted to it. Okay, yeah. See, when you list this baby for sale, you just say amateur floor pan repairs. Now we shoot a few self-tappers into it, and then we can further manipulate this to the correct shape. That, not so much. Just beat it under the seat where you can't see it anymore. Oh, look! Oh! That's the rear seat bracket. God, let's put that back. Everything's fine now. So, I seem to have added some holes.
And I'm just watching that one back there get bigger, and
no,
you know.
what you're talking about? It's nothing. See, this is a low-dollar, low-effort build. Ain't nobody crawling under your car looking at your floor pans at the local cruise night while you're eating your ice cream, okay? Nobody cares. It's okay. This is a full-frame car, so this isn't even a safety thing. These seat belts bolt to a cross member underneath the car. That's still in good shape. It's just the sheet metal that's rotted away. We're going to patch those smaller holes with some lighter duty. It's basically self-adhesive self-tappers. There we go. See that? The foil tape. Undefeated. Pretty much same story over here. We'll start with the easy stuff. Spec. Now that the floors are completely repaired, let's throw that new carpet that we had and it came with, you know, might as well use it. You know, the thing is, we weren't able to remove anything from the car, and that makes things, difficult. I am gonna butcher this. I know, that's a shock to everybody. We know where the drive shaft tunnel is on the carpet because of this indention right here. That's the center of the carpet. So I'm gonna split that right down the middle. You can see how spot on I was in the middle of that. My eyeball measurements are something to behold. Now, I gotta go further, don't I? Let's get her pulled as far up as we can. Cut her back a little bit more. Oh yeah, this is gonna work pretty close. You can see we just tuck this right under the console. Nobody needs to know. We tuck this right under the back seat. Nobody needs to know. And we'll just notch for the seat belts. Nobody needs to know. Then we'll just guess where to put the seat. And there we go. There's our final product. Completely half-assed. Perfect. Throw some floor mats on it. Throw the seats in it. Good to go. Just found this 4x4 tie hanging on a wall. I think it'll make a wonderful L bracket. It might be a little wide. Wide might be good.
Yes?
Yes.
Because we're good.
This will work. And just bolt that to it.
Yes.
And then bolt it to the floor. That is expertly repaired now. Brilliant, really. Yes, everybody's jealous. Would you look at that? That is so much better. Ha. It's almost like I have no idea what I'm doing. Voila. I know, you know, it is a lot better than it was. Obviously, we still have some work to do yet, but we're just gonna kind of revisit that a little bit later on. Try to fix some of this other stuff. This was a good start. Top it all off with our reused Kmart floor mats. Much better. Much better. Those are gonna look pretty good. We'll clean the white walls up. I scrounged up one beauty ring to replace the one that was missing. Pretty sure I found that on the side of the road a few years ago. And I had two center caps that still had the red in the Pontiac emblem. We'll put those on the driver's side because that's the only side that matters. There we go. Lug nuts today are, of course, courtesy of lugnutguys.com. Get your new nuts, lugnutguys.com. Right there. They have the best nuts, the shiniest, the largest nuts.
Did you say you're an expert on nuts?
I would say.
Yeah, alright.
Look at that big old bag of nuts. You might say it's a sack, in fact. I almost forgot to put new brake drums on it. There we go. That's about all I got in me for one night. I know that. But yeah, we got a little ways to go yet. It's no problem. Easy. Low effort, low dollar. Yeah. It's time to begin body work. Here's the thing. This car in pristine original condition with low mileage and perfect is not worth $10,000. These cars are worthless. To most people, this is an engine and transmission for something else. Those are facts. You can get mad about it. That's just the way it is. It's okay though. That means you can have a car you don't got to worry about, and you can drive it and have fun with it. We're going to butch this thing, and it's going to look good from 10, 20 feet away. And that's all you need out of a car like this. It doesn't have to be perfect. I know how to fix this stuff correctly. You've seen me do it. We're not doing it this time. I could put 50 hours of labor into reskinning this roof, and then I'd still have a $2,000 car. Or I could butcher this, and then I still have a $2,000 car. I don't have any of the Landau top trim, so I'm going to peel off this last remaining piece, and we're just going to do without it. While all the losers are sitting around with their thumb up their ass, waiting for perfection to occur, you'll be cruising around picking up chicks in your Grand Prix, you know what I mean? Like, you know, come on. Honestly, the toughest part is this is going to be getting all that flex tape off of it. We're just going to grind it all off, all the edges and stuff. We want it down to shiny bare metal. See over here, we've pretty much got this as prepped as it's going to be, and also discovered a number of new holes. That's okay, it's all good. So all these little, I don't know what they call them, like a little trim stud. Little plastic clip goes on, and then you slide the trim over it. Well, those have got to go. And these suck if you're trying to make a car really nice, you know, because it'll show divots all the way down, but for what we're doing, it'll be okay. And these are welded into the sheet metal, so you just take your grinder, and once we clean all this off, we'll be able to just kind of skin coat that with some filler. Got to get the rest of that vinyl out of there. Goodbye, factory self-tapper. It's got holes all the way. Lead. Yum. I'm going to use a 6-inch DA with some 80 grit on it and just kind of smooth all this out where that trim was. And around here, I want to make sure I have a good surface for all my various fillers and whatnot to stick to. Stay flat. You want this flat. If you go digging in at an angle, you're going to make assholes. Don't dig assholes into the surface. Otherwise, you're going to, when you paint it, if you're half-assing it like this, you know, and it's not getting a bunch of primer put on it, you're going to end up with little divots all over the place, everywhere you dug an asshole. Don't do that, all right? Just keep it flat. It's the most important thing that you can know when it comes to any kind of body. What we're trying to avoid here is you can kind of see this hard line. You can barely feel it, but if you were to paint over that, you would see it. This is what you call feathered. This edge here, you can see the factory primer and the paint. This is a nice feathered edge. It's basically imperceptible. That's pretty rough on the edge. So, I mean, obviously we'll be filling it, but we still want a nice feathered edge on everything. Whenever you read the instructions on your sandpaper, that's called feathering something out. Anytime you got a hole, like these screw holes here, you got to ping them in a little bit, you know? So your filler has somewhere to go. With this rust hole, it's kind of boobly, you know what I mean? Let's try to bend the edge of this.
They're all falling inside, too.
What are you talking about? No, that hole definitely doesn't go all the way through. Giant hole. Bad. Now you might be tempted to use like spray foam or something. I've used it before. The thing is, it holds water. Not really what we want. Gutter mesh. Now the beauty of gutter mesh is that it's formable. you can shape this however you need it. Shove it up in here, you know, about like that. The cool thing about the gutter mesh is it actually allows the fiberglass to bite through the backside of it, and it makes it a lot stronger. And the thing is, don't use body filler for this kind of thing. We use it to smooth out the finished product, but we begin with short strand fiberglass. And that actually goes for even if you're patching things correctly. They should always be coated in a little bit of short strand fiberglass just for strength. Oh, it's really coming together now, guys. Oh my God, that is chef's kiss. What we use here is not Bondo. We use short strand fiberglass. And this is waterproof, very strong. I mean, they literally build cars and panels of cars out of this stuff. If we would have cut all the rust out and treated everything, actually that repair would probably last for a decade more. You've seen me do it before on JD's car. I fixed the fenders on it by cutting the rust out, shoving some gutter mesh in it, glassing and filling. That's been 2 years now, and it's perfectly fine. And it's not like the car hasn't been driven. Hopefully I've got enough here. You get this stuff for about 20 bucks anywhere. You don't have to mix it all at once, you know, you can get it in pieces. If you know your ratios well enough to kind of eyeball enough to get one whole section done at a time, it'll make your life a little bit easier because everything will cure at the same rate. We're going to mix in our hardener right up in here. See that? Look, it's gone. Oh yeah, this is going to work out well. You know, I'm kind of wondering if I shouldn't have lifted up that flex tape before I said I'd buy the car. And to the untrained eye, nobody will know. That includes that chick at the bar who digs your sweet Grand Prix, you know what I mean? So you might notice we're kind of missing some of the roof there. We'll use some of our magic roof repair here. And you're gonna go, well Dalton, it's just gonna fall off of there, right? I know that's what you're thinking. Take your putty spreader, just kind of shove it up under there. It should make you a nice edge as it dries. Then we'll grind it all down flush, and yeah, it's gonna be beautiful, perfect even. Ah, look, it's all that stuff I was hoping to ignore. We gotta hold this one in place. This is a severe duty. Oh, that didn't work at all. The tape is peeling the car away. There we go. All right, so now if you join me over here.
All right.
You know, I have used this entire quart for this. We can add that $20 to the total of the car. We don't have to prorate it. You gotta push when you do this stuff. You gotta push it down into the holes. That is very important. Otherwise you'll end up with like a little bubble of fiberglass. Huzzah. There you go. It's not quite all the way cured, but there's enough of a lip there to sand and grind it to make it look right. You got a dent here, and I think it's pretty much the only dent in the car. I'm using my dolly here. Whenever metal is impacted, it doesn't just disappear. So you get pushed in here, it's kind of like a wave in the ocean. It ripples out. You got to find the high spots of the wave, which I hit it with a DA. You're able to clearly see where the high spot is. So we'll just shrink that metal here and get it to flow that way. This is body filler, very fine fiberglass. Now, one thing to point out, I love this. This is U-Pole Gold. It's fairly affordable. It's not the cheapest stuff. It's about 30 bucks for this almost gallon. The key is right there, DTM, direct to metal. Some body fillers are acidic, and if you apply them directly to metal, basically you'll cause rust to occur, and you know that's bad. You don't want to rust it and then put something over it, right? This stuff is like butter. I love U-Pole products. They're not American made, they're actually made in England. U-Pole. So when you spread body filler, always go in the same direction. And see these ridges here? Those are called rats. You want to keep those rats out of there. You want to put this stuff on slick. Every single one of these stupid little trim rivet things, every one is going to need just a little bit of filler. And just leave it a little bit fat. You can just sand it down. You're going to leave a little hump there. That's okay. We will prime and block at least this roof. This is all cured up really nicely. Let's get it ground down.
and get some filler in it.
Alright, we got our glass knocked down. One thing to note, if you take your grinder and you just kind of dig into it. You can see I dug the grinder into it. That's going to give your body filler something to grab onto and hold on. It'll make it last quite a while longer. So I'm knocking down the filler right now with some 80 grit. We're just going to keep our DA flat. We're going to feather the edge out. This is what we're shooting for. That's called a feathered edge. This isn't far enough. That's feathered. I run my hand across it. I can't even feel it. It's okay if there's a little lump in it. That's fine. Primer will blend it in. It can have a little bit of a bump in it, and we will just blend the whole thing in. Right here on this quarter panel, we're going to use the board file. This is kind of like using a sanding block, except for 1,000 times faster. And so you just put your air board up here, and you just keep it flat, and you can smooth out big, broad surfaces like this easy. Oh, we're back out here. Let's try to knock down this mud. Probably gonna need one more coat up here on the top, but let's try to knock down the mud and get it ready for some primer. We got work to do. Let's do it. Obviously, we've filled the gap between the trim and the car, so we have to cut that gap back out so that nobody's the wiser. We're just going to use a cutoff wheel. This thing's waving like Old Glory. Now, there's two ways to fix that. There's the right way, which would be to prime and block this about 1,000 times and, slowly get it there. Or you could take icing to it, which is what I'm going to do. It's glazing putty. It goes on kind of like icing on a cake. Very easy to work with. It's very light and easy whenever it's not freezing cold outside. Today, it's a little bit thicker. And you just use a very, very, very thin skin coat of this over the top of your bodywork, and you can straighten out just about anything. You just don't want it very thick. Every show car you've ever seen in your life is covered from fender to quarter panel in this. It's got a thin 1/16 inch coating of glazing putty on it. Put a little bit of this over the lead seam and the roof line, which is not a lead seam on this. It's a plastic filler seam because GM, like every other car maker, used plastic body filler in the roofs of vinyl top cars only. Anything that was not a vinyl top car would have actually had lead put in it. All of our icing is nice and dry now. Very, very smooth. We can sand that. Just kind of carefully sand it, and we're just going to leave it a little bit fat. The beauty of icing is that you can hand sand it with 180 grit sandpaper. You can just take your time, sand a little bit, use the palm of your hand, not your fingers. Stay flat. You can use a sanding block too, and just feel. That's what you want to do, is feel. So like this feels pretty good. This in here, a little bit funky feeling. So that's nice and smoothed out now. However, you can see the gaps where like the spreader had a little something on it. Plus there's a couple of pinholes. So what you use for that is just spot putty. And this is a self-catalyzing putty. I wouldn't use it on anything that was deep at all. Just these little bits here. Let me get all this in, and then while we wait for it to dry, we'll probably go ahead and use some 180 grit on the whole car to get it ready for some primer. What do you think, Shopbird? Think it's looking pretty good? Yeah. Well, yeah, brother, I think it's looking pretty good. Back here, you still got sand back here, you know what I mean? Yep. Well, yeah, and over here on this quarter. See, over here, yeah, see right there? Yeah, you missed a spot. Yep. The roof looks pretty good from up here. Yeah, I don't think you see nothing. I just realized probably how to fix this mirror before I get going too crazy now. So just kind of stick it back where it's supposed to go and then JB weld it into place. Not like your typical all metal JB weld. This is their epoxy. Equal parts, black and white. Mix them together till they're gray. Smear it on the thing, stick it together. Yeah, just a little bit right there. This stuff will be rated for Mach 3 speeds probably. I would say on the low side. All our spot putty's knocked down, looking good. It's a little bit wavy, but you know, it is what it is. Jess out here helping me mask. We're gonna get this thing taped off and try to get a coat of primer on it tonight. Yeah, 2 hours later, it's masked off. It takes forever. What I got here is a U-Pol 2K urethane primer. It's a high build primer. Whenever something says 2K, what it means is 2-part. So like your standard primers, old school stuff, is lacquer primer. And it would just be the primer and lacquer thinner, and it dries by the process of the lacquer thinner evaporating out of the coating. This actually catalyzes itself with a hardener like this. Now, it used to be a lot more expensive. Nowadays, it's about the same price as lacquer thinner and regular old primer. Right here is about $110, and I'm not going to use this whole gallon on that car, so we'll have enough to use on something else. Now, I did buy it at O'Reilly's, which means it's probably been sitting on a shelf for 25 years, and it shows like it has. The pour. It's a good thing my workbench is so organized.
You got all that clear space right there. I mean,
I'm simulating an at-home environment for you guys. I hope you appreciate it.
yeah.
You know, I wouldn't want you to think just because of my luxurious working conditions that you can't do something. You know what I mean? So I just try to be like everybody else. Over there we have my 50 by 70 shop with multiple lift bays, and it's all organized. But we just keep this one around. I'm going to shoot this at about 50 psi. Cancel that. I think I'm going to shoot it at about 70 psi. It's so thick. So here's what happens when you shoot too thick. You see this like spatter effect that's got going on. It doesn't really matter. So one thing you might want to do before you really start frying and stuff is just coat your body work first. That filler is going to want to soak up your primer, at least a little bit. Get it one coat on it so it kind of sucks it up a little bit. Then, whenever you're doing the car overall, it'll end up with 2 or 3 coats of primer on it instead of just one. While the primer's wet, you can kind of check your work. Well, it looks pretty good. We'll have to sharpen up the body line a little bit. What's up, dude?
Hi, girl.
Yeah, he's doing good.
Oh, poor
He
little.
lives on this stuff. He loves it.
It's like a little crackhead bird.
So I kind of forgot about the filler panels being completely destroyed, so I'll fix those right now. Problem solved. You know, the nose coat on this is actually fiberglass, and you can see that the glass is actually soaking it up where it broke through the gel coat, where I should have put gel coat back on it. I'll put a couple extra coats of primer on this nose for sure. There we go. Looking sharp in primer. You know, this would be the smart time to sell a car. Ready for paint. You know, paint your color. It looks pretty good. I mean, the car had a hole I could throw a dog through yesterday. We'll block sand this, make it just a bit better. Same with down here below the rear window. That's the next day. Let's get ready to paint. Boy, this primer's very gooey still. It's had plenty of time to dry. We are You see here, the 320, but the paper just clogs up. That primer was old and junk. I mean, it will sand. We're going to be here all day, and we're going to leave puppy tracks all over this thing. We're going to pull the car out, let it bake in the sun for a while we clean the shop up. Well, this thing's pretty much screwed. Don't know if it's the old primer, if it's the urethane over the lacquer paint, possibly. Although I've done that 100 times, maybe it finally bit me. Anyway, we're just gonna break this open as best we can so that the paint might adhere to it and just wing it, because I'm not stripping it back off, so here we go. Well, I broke my camera lens, so we're back on the GoPro like the good old days. Oops. We're all wiped off?
Yep.
I feel markedly less professional holding this. Here's our color. Massey Ferguson Metallic Flint Gray. You can get metallic tractor paints. I did not know this. Now, it was more money. It was 80 bucks for a gallon instead of 53, but look at that. We got to stir it more. That's gonna be a really cool color if it works out for us. It'll also hide everything really, really well. It's pretty much go time. We're gonna mix this 8 parts paint, 1 part hardener. People always say tractor paint fades out real bad, and it can. Use a hardener, it'll last for years. Touch of naphtha to thin it out. We want this to flow out pretty good. Make sure it's mixed up real good. The strainer will get rid of some of the metallic, unfortunately, but it's better than shooting globs of crap. Always start in an inconspicuous place, so you know if you got it right. Like the middle of the roof. We got Fisheye City going on here. I'm not really sure why. I mean, even without using prep sol, that's quite a bit. So I'm just gonna have to try to fix them in the next coat. You can do that with like a light dusting. All right, I got a bit of a plan here. I'm just gonna dust the whole car with paint. I mean, really light, like this. Very light coat. And hopefully our next coat will just stick to this coat and we can build from there. I don't know if you can use this in tractor paint. This is Fisheye Eliminator. Just a couple, about that much, will prevent fisheyes. And it does that by kind of melting them together. I've never tried to use it in tractor paint, but here we are. I like that better. That looks like it's laying out better. All right, hopefully we caught it in time. When you're shooting metallic, you need your fan to be as wide as possible. For whatever reason, my piece of crap Harbor Freight spray gun won't go any wider than this. But you want to overlap about, I don't know, I'd say 50-50. Otherwise you end up with stripes. Because the more metallic there is, the darker it is. So if it's not evenly laid out, you'll see it. One way you can get around that, having trouble like I am. So I'm going to do a lot of vertical lines like this. Switch it up. Go horizontal. Kind of cross hatch it. Like this. Notice how those fish eyes they're going away. It's going to give it a real dry dusting of paint.
That's a lot better.
We're ready to go again. Should be nice and tacked up. Give it a nice overall coat. It's looking pretty damn good. I mean, it's impressive, really. The fish eyes are pretty much gone. I mean, they're still there, but you can see the modeling in the paint. We're gonna have to fix that in this go. Not sure what happened on this fender here. You got some sags in it, so hey, you can fix that. Stand way the hell back here and just start dusting. Unfortunately, a single stage metallic can't be wet sanded. So you ask anybody what the hardest paint to paint is, and they're gonna say single stage metallic with a crappy Harbor Freight spray gun. That sucks. This sucks worse. I'm gonna have to respray that, I think. It's like 35 degrees, so it's way too cold to be painting. You know, it sounds like excuses, but that's just the facts. I have excellent news. Somehow this paint is cured enough in the last like 18 to 20 hours, it actually sands. But I came out here to try to, just experiment and started knocking that run out, and sure enough, we could sand it. What I'm gonna do is 320 the whole car again, and then we're going to try again, because we don't give up around here. I've got 320 grit on my DA. I'm only going to use that on the sags. And then we're going to use a red Scotch-Brite on some of the rest of the car. Honestly, the paint's fresh enough. Another coat will stick right to it. Kind of broke open all the paint. Now, hopefully that'll help it cure We're just gonna let it bake for a while. Getting really damn hot in here. See what happens. Well, I hate to do it. It's gonna end up getting cold on me again. I just have to know that going into it, how this paint's gonna work. Stay up a little late tonight, try to get some paint on this thing, and let's see what happens. Really lightly overall the whole car. Well, there we have it. Run be gone. That worked. It's a little duller than it was, but I'll take it. It's better than that big old sag, that's for sure. I mean, really, overall, I think we fixed that pretty good. All's well that ends well, I guess. Back out here the next day. Everything's dry. Everything seems happy. Car's kind of crusty feeling because I laid it on so dry. A good quick polish would get rid of most of that. That's obviously like a week down the road, but for now, let's just unmask this thing and get it outside and see what it looks like. It's always the best part of any paint job, even a crappy one like this. Once you get all this crap off, your eyes get drawn other places, it looks a lot better. Ugh. Definitely gonna want to paint those belt. It's supposed to be rubber in here. It's gone, so we'll just paint it black. Body side moldings are awful. The brown doesn't really work anymore, so maybe we'll paint those black too. Now I'm gonna throw some headlights in this thing. Got some new halogens over there. Just gonna throw low beams in it because this one is full of water and the other one's broken. So let's get that swapped out. Oh, we're missing a headlight adjusting screw here, so we'll fix that with a drywall screw. Yes. There we go. There we go. That's perfectly adjusted. I can tell because I don't care. Solved. Right, getting that belt molding touched up. A little tractor paint and paintbrush. I'm gonna go ahead and paint the body side molding black. It looks a little bit cheesy, but it looks less cheesy than the rust color. Slow and steady. I'm just actually stalling for my new camera lens to show up. Jess crochets these little scrubby thingies here. They work great. We use them instead of sponges because they're reusable. Save a couple bucks. Wanted to see what they did out in the shop, so I'll be testing these for a while. But they're really good little scrubbies. She will be selling them on her Etsy shop at some point here. As she starts to build up a little inventory there, I'll say some more about that, but keep your eyes peeled. Well, let's go ahead and completely reupholster the whole thing with these seat covers that I got on clearance for $5 at some point. Like everything else I've done, those are too small and don't work. Let's put an Indian blanket on there. We'll just seal in all the disease with this. That worked better than I thought it would have. Huh, well, let me go get another one. I think we picked up 2 of these when we went to Arizona last year. All the diseases sealed away forever. Let's see if we can make this a little better, maybe. Oh, thank God. New camera. Anybody interested in what I shoot with? There it is. Let me get you on that. That's more like it. I'm gonna try to get this door panel screwed on. Let's go take this thing for a drive. All right, well, we'll just secure this door panel with some self-tappers. That's a good cruiser for, I don't know, I'll add it up and put it down here, but I'm gonna guess less than 2,500 bucks. You can have that. You can drive that every day instead of your Camry like a loser. So, you know, come on. This is badass. Not really, but it's cooler than your Camry. Let's see if it drives. So the gauges work. This is the downside of painting a car before you know literally anything at all about it. But we got 40 pounds oil pressure. We have barely any gas. It is charging and it's at 180 degrees. I'm pretty happy, actually. Oh. You know, it could use some upholstery work.
That's just one duct tape away.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Oh, it's smooth.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh. Oh no. No, hang on, I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm trying.
More airborne mystery.
The disease. Woo! Yeah. This is what I'm talking about. This is fun. This is how you have fun for cheap and low effort. I have like a week of work in this thing, and now I'm doing 75 miles an hour down a blacktop road into the sunset. This is American car culture. It's not big name money guys. It's not big shot douchebags. It's regular guys getting it done and just having fun. Maybe you spent the extra $100 on a set of shocks.
Yeah.
That's your prerogative.
I don't know. That was the way my neck needed to pop, though. No.
Get us a hot race. What's up? You think you can take me? That's what I'm talking about. Get that Pontiac power.
Your car has Tourette's.
Yeah! Woo! That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Toyota ain't got nothing on that, boy.
There you go.
Look at that. Nothing puking. This thing's been off the road for 24 years. And it looks good. I mean, you know, it's nothing special, but it gets the job done. See, Pontiacs are just indestructible, and that's something that I think a lot of the younger car community just hasn't grown to understand yet, is that these are the greatest cars ever constructed by man. And, you know, I say that humbly, but seriously, what else sits for like 24 years? It's just like, okay, well, let's drive across the country. It'll be totally fine. Gas gauge works. Everything's functional. What was that? I don't know. Let's keep driving. Let's take this to the local soda fountain. It's a gas station, because that's all there is anymore. And then let's get a pizza. Can we complete our mission? Will this 1977 Grand Prix get sodas and a pizza? Now, normally I would have gone home by now because I wouldn't trust it, but this baby is just, I mean, it is not bad. Carburetor's kind of junky, but other than that, it's not that bad. All the vitals look good. We've been driving it for probably, I don't know, 30 minutes or so, just around back roads. Soda acquired. Onto the pizza. Can we get the pizza?
We go 3 parking lots over.
What am I doing with my life? Pizza acquired. We did it. Now we just got to get home 6 miles. So, as we speak, the steering wheel is unraveling itself and thus will be revealed. Oh no. No. Put that back. Oh no.
You said something bad was happening. I thought the car was dying.
No, the car's fine. The steering wheel's horrible though. I mean, come on. Look at this power window. Look at the luxury.
It's so fast.
I know. Can you imagine cranking a window by hand? It would take forever.
Peasants.
I mean, it's almost done. And there's a little gap.
It's good enough.
Yeah.
Yes. Hurry before the pizza gets cold.
Gotta get home. We're gonna lose the shop.
And our pizza.
Damn, car. Alright, it's got a little something to it once it gets moving. And we're back. It's perfect. Pizza intact. Soda intact. Yes. Kind of sick, but still intact. I would argue probably the cheapest painted car on YouTube. You know, you can do this. This is not a me thing. This is something you can do. So this isn't about me. I've screwed up plenty of things on this. What matters is that you work through it, right? But I gotta go eat pizza. So we'll see you next time on Pole Barn Garage. Let me know if you want to see more of this thing. I actually kind of like it. It's not a bad car. It's very rare that it takes something out and nothing goes wrong. And you know, well, it is a Pontiac, so what do you expect? We'll see you guys next time. Check out polebarnmerch.com. Get you some Pole Barn merch. It helps pay for the camera I just got. So we'll see you guys. Because you think you're gonna have the poops because you ran?
I didn't know you were still recording.
Because you ran away with toilet paper and a large
I
pizza?
my toilet paper for my sneezy nose, and now they're gonna think that I have the poops. I don't have the poops.